Alright, what's up? I hope everybody having a wonderful, pleasant, and enjoyable day. I wish you well wherever on our beautiful planet on this beautiful planet where you are located. Today, I want to talk about a long-awaited, long-anticipated movie that I believe part one, the first film came out roughly 15 years ago. That movie is called Incredibles 2. Alright, so one thing I found positive about this iteration of Incredibles 2, the first thing, it focused on a different central character. This time it focused on basically the Elastigirl. The whole film was realistically centered around her. Her development as a character and her development as a superhero and the technique she used to apprehend villains with her unique classification of powers. We got to delve into her mind. We got to see what motivated her, what inspired her, what made her angry. We even got to see that. What got on her nerves, what made her angry. So I enjoyed that. Getting into the mind of Elastigirl. If you saw part one, which I'm assuming you have, or the first movie, it's centered around her husband. Her husband. This one centered around his wife, Elastigirl. And we got to know her more intimately. We got to feel for her better. We got to develop a relationship with her. She was popular in the first one. She was popular, but in the first one she was more of a secondary character. This one, she was the leading character. So we got to see what made her tick. We even got to see how she got around as a superhero. We learned something about superheroes who could not fly. Most of them, they got around in some type of vehicular transportation. We got to see that. If you couldn't fly, or you didn't have some power that propel you through the air, they relied on some type of speedy, sophisticated vehicle. Alright. The second thing I enjoyed is watching Elastigirl's powers. You all know, if you have a history of reading comic books like I have, you know about Elongated Man from the Justice League. You know about Plastic Man, who became a Justice League member in the 1990s. You know about Mr. Fantastic. And you know about them other superheroes and villains who have stretching powers. But in my mind, usually I took those stretching powers less seriously. I gave more credence to Hawkeye, Batman, Green Arrow, etc., who didn't have no power. I held them in higher regards than the superheroes had those elastic powers, because it seemed like for the longest time, most comic books did not show much love, much respect to those characters who had those stretching, elongated powers. But that Incredibles 2 movie made that power seem noteworthy. It made it seem incredible. For instance, here's a demonstration of that power. If he was Batman, to get from building to building, he had to use that bat hook. If he was Hawkeye or Green Arrow, I guess they had to go all the way down from one building, go all the way up to the next building, and that's how they got from building. Not with Elastigirl. Since she can stretch her body and morph her body, she stretched from one building to another building. And that's something we never saw in comic books. I never saw Mr. Fantastic stretch from one building to another. I just saw him made himself long to wrap somebody up, like Plastic Man. He just used his power to change from one shape to the other. I never really saw him using that power, that certain powers, to move from one location to the other. So we got to saw Elastigirl was able to quickly move around with that unique elongated power. We got to see that when you have those powers too, you have a unique fighting style. For instance, we know that Mr. Incredible, he's durable, nearly invulnerable. So if you attack him with a gun or knife, it bounces off. But when you got that elastic power, it's hard to puncture such a person. If you hit them, if they choose to, they can make their body absorb your punch and move with your punch. If you stab them, you cannot puncture them because their body will just bend and morph to that knife puncture. So they basically are nearly indestructible and hard to injure because they can morph and twist their bodies in any way they want to. They can fight multiple people at one time. That's why, like Elastica, she fought multiple people without exerting a lot of injury, without exerting a lot of energy. She just stretched her arm, and that one stretched out fist could attack multiple people in a snap of a finger. So that was incredible. So we got to see having elongated stretching power is really noteworthy. It's not a joke. It's not made to be taken seriously, especially when they fight a regular human. Now I know they have to exert more power if they fighting against a superpower person, but against a regular human, that elastic power is all they need to quickly apprehend and subdue a typical run-of-the-mill human being, whether the human being is a weightlifter or just a professor in a college. That power can do the trick to quickly put down a normal person. Alright, next we got to see more of Jack Jack. In the first movie, we didn't get to see Jack Jack much. And for the most part, he was just a normal baby for most of the movie until the last 10 minutes when he started to exert his powers. Here, we got to see him play a central role in the movie. We got to see exactly his vast quantity of powers. So what we see of Jack Jack now, if he possessed all these abilities when he become a full-grown adult, he may be one of the most powerful individuals on the planet in that universe. He may be one of the most powerful people in the universe. Now we didn't get to see if he had any strength powers. All of Jack's powers seemed to like, I know he can travel through various dimensions. He was able to use fire power. He was able to change into that demon-like thing. If there's any other powers that exhibited, please let me know. So I know he had the fire power, change into the demon, and he was able to jump between dimensions. And shoot them laser beams from his eyes too, yeah. So it was 4 powers he demonstrated. Those 4. I don't know if he have any others, but those 4 powers can put him at the top of the superhero power ranking. This time it was a more diverse cast. In Incredibles 1, when we did get to see supers, it was just from a memory flashback. In this episode, Incredibles 2, we got to see living, breathing superheroes that exist in a universe with them. Because the way it made it seem like Incredibles 2, it's like most superheroes was gone. And especially when it showed that most of them was deceased from the hands of that villain, Incredible 1. We didn't get to see any super power individuals other than the ISO man, whatever he called himself. That was the only super we got to see. ISO and the Incredibles, and that was it. Everyone else, it seemed like, was taken out the picture, if you know what I mean. Because there was a long line of supers who was taken out the pictures. So it's glad to see that there are supers still alive today. So if there's an Incredible 3, I hope it devote more time to this current generation of supers. Alright, this time we had a different villain. I didn't like her as much as the other Incredible 1 villain, but hey, you had to mix it up. The first villain in Incredible 1 was a man, so hey, You said, let's just go around and make this one a woman. The thing that they had in common between Incredible 1 and 2 is that both the villains didn't have no powers though. And if they make an Incredible 3, I would like to see a villain who has some type of power set that the Incredibles can fight. Because with this villain, the Incredibles didn't have to really fight against her. They just fought against her minions and her unique schemes. It was easy to take her out the picture. One quick hit from Elastigirl, and that'd have been it for that particular human-based villain. Alright, and here too, the ISO, whatever he called himself, ISO man or whatever, he was more powerful in this iteration. It seemed like if he wanted to, he could encase an entire building, maybe a block in ice. He almost seemed like a Iceman level superpowered individual. You know, if you read the X-Men, Iceman, he's an Omega class mutant. It's hard to kill him. He can change, his power can affect large regions. Now I don't know, the only difference between the Iceman from the X-Men and this Iceman in this movie, that the Iceman and the X-Men, he can encase his whole body in the ice. And he seemed to be immune to cold temperatures. I don't know if the ISO man in Incredibles 2, I don't know if he's immune to cold. Because he have to have that suit on. I don't know if that suit protects from cold or not. His whole body is not encased in ice. So you already know from the mutant X-Men that he's immune to ice because he can encase his whole body in ice. And in Incredibles 2, it does seem like he just can project ice, but we don't know if he's immune to his own power or ice temperatures in general. Like I said, I'm glad that it showed that supers still exist, and it's just not one super alive, the ice character. There's a multitude of them that's still alive, and a multitude of them that they still young. They seemed a little bit younger than Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible, a little bit younger. So I don't know if the supers in this iteration, are they naturally born supers like Jack and the Incredible children? See, I want to think Incredibles got a last name. So if anybody know their last name, please let me know, because I can just refer to them as the Incredibles. I don't even know the father's first name. I think the woman called him by his first name a lot. And the woman, the wife, we know her first name too, but I gotta go back and check that. But I don't know their last name. Do the Incredibles have a last name? Let me know in my comments if they got a last name. Alright, now I want to get to the parts of the movie that I did not like. To me, number one, it did not seem as funny as the first Incredible. It lacked a sense of humor. One thing that made me always laugh, and many people laugh at the Incredibles, when they were saying why supers should not wear a cape. It showed one person got sucked in by a tornado because he had a cape on. It showed another super got sucked into the to the turbines of airplanes because she had the cape on. And if that super in that movie who got sucked into the turbine was not invincible, that was an ugly death. See, they even made Super's death seem funny. And Incredibles 1, I didn't see. Incredibles 2 didn't have that many laughing moments in it, so that's a huge disparity. They needed to have more laughing moments to make you laugh. The villain didn't seem goofy. And Incredible 1, the villain, he even made you laugh. Because even though he was a genius level person, he did funny, silly things in the movie. Even he had a sense of humor. He tried to pull off jokes. And Incredible 2, the female villain, she didn't even try to make jokes in the movie. She was a straight up, square person. Here, in this movie, Dash seemed a lot slower to me. In the first movie, Jack seemed incredibly quick. If you remember that scene from the classroom with involving the teacher and the thumbtack, when they was trying to show Jack on his video film, Jack moved so quick that you couldn't see him. In this movie, I didn't see no incredible display of super speed by Jack. And the first one, Jack was so fast, he was surprised that he could actually run on water. And if anybody out there good at physics, can you tell us how fast you gotta be to at least run on water? And we gotta assume that Jack, he at least weighed 70, probably 80 pounds. How much force, how fast you have to be to keep 80 pounds, 70 pounds running in that water? So like I said, he didn't seem that fast. He seemed a lot slower. He ran back to his room quick and to do his little task fast, to eat the food fast, but it didn't even show him eating the food real fast, because I was able to see him eat the food. Alright, and here in the second one, it seemed like the supers, I guess it was out of business for 15 years, and it can show that Mr. Incredible lost a lot of its edge in apprehending criminals because they let the Underminer get away. They let him get away. The Underminer, he was a petty villain because all he wanted to do was steal money. And the Underminer uses Underminer technology to break into a bank and steal money from the bank. And Mr. Incredible was a klutz. He got caught by Mr. Underminer's equipment, and he let Mr. Underminer get away. So he was out the game so long that he didn't know how to tackle or to apprehend a non-powered individual, which the Underminer was. He didn't have no powers, but Mr. Incredible still let him get away. Alright, like I said earlier, we didn't have no silly villains in the movie. No one had any jokes. There was no funny flashback to the past where we even could have seen Mr. Incredible as a rookie hero making mistakes. But he didn't do that. We didn't have no funny flashbacks like they did in Incredible 1. And I would have loved to see them interact with their world more better. We know that superheroes was outlawed. We saw the Congressman wrote the pen about outlawing superheroes, but it would have been good to see to got the normal person's view on supers. Should they have been outlawed? Should supers come back? We didn't get to see the supers interact with the world. We basically got to see the Incredible family in their little isolation. The only interaction that they had with any normal human was with the costume maker, but I don't consider her a regular human because she deal with supers. She made clothing for the supers. The only normal human in this movie was Violet's interest in school. That's only. And we didn't get to see much of him talking or interacting with Violet. We got to see more human interaction in Incredible 1. We got to see Jack teacher. We got to see the principal. We got to see Violet talking to girls in our class and interacting with boys. And Incredible 2, there was very little human interaction. So all in all, if I had to give Incredible 2 a rating for me, I would give it a C. A C. It did not inspire me as much as Incredible 2. And I'm sorry, as Incredible 1. Incredible 1, it was so groundbreaking and so fantastic. I saw that a number of times. I did not mind watching that 2 or 3 times. I just saw Incredible 2 one time. When I saw it and it was over, okay, I'll go watch the next movie now. So, it did not have any incredible moments to make us hunger for an Incredible 3. If there's an Incredible 3, I hope they devote more time to the supers. I hope they develop more time to normal humans out in the regular society. Not some wealthy billionaire who want to get the supers back on the game. They didn't even interact with him much because he was telling them what to do. So that's my take on The Incredible 2. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. If you would like to subscribe to hear me talk about future movies or television shows, please subscribe to the channel. You all have a wonderful day. Take care and keep being strong and keep enjoying your life. Goodbye.